Hey guys, Bird Dog John here. Just want to do a quick little walkthrough about adding cameras with the NDI protocol on the keyboard and adding cameras with the VISCA-IP protocol on the keyboard. So today we're talking about Bird Dog cameras being added to the Bird Dog keyboard, and this is how you do it. So I've got my little desktop set up here with studio monitor watching a P200, and so we're going to walk through this setup for you. Now, your cameras and your keyboard need to all be on the network. They all need to have the same subnet 255.255.255.0, which means that, as an example here, you can see on the screen 192.168.17.15 is, or dot 13 is the actual address. That means 192.168.17, that number is issued to every device that is on my NDI network. Okay, so it needs to be a single subnet 255.255.255.0, which means that those first three numbers in the IP address are the same for all devices across your network. Now, my cameras are both on this network, and my keyboard is on this network. My keyboard is set to DHCP because there's really no reason for this keyboard to have a static IP address. And I need to be running a network that has a DHCP server. That's pretty important. So instead of going in and customizing the network data and all that stuff, let the DHCP server do its job and leave the high performance video cameras and keyboard to do their job, which is to control the cameras, and the camera's job is to have the video send out with very little latency. So today we want to show you how to add these cameras to the keyboard. The NDI function is actually really easy. Here we're going to press the search button, which is right here, and it is going to open up a protocol that says select protocol. It'll say VISCA-IP or NDI-IP. It's a little bit hard to see on the screen. I'm really sorry. The second option is the NDI-IP, so we're going to use the LR directional knob and move the arrow to that, and then we're going to click the button. Okay, and it's going to say, do you want to start the search? We're going to say yes. And now it's searching the network for NDI signals. So it shouldn't take too long. It checks all 256 addresses, goes through the network, and it finds whatever NDI signals are available. So here I've got a camera that's on the network at 17.13, which is a P200, the actual camera that's watching this video, and it's found it fine. So the way we save it is we let it be highlighted here on the screen, so you see the little arrow. We highlight the IP address and we click. We say, I want this camera. You can select which number with the UD knob, this knob over here. So you can change the number to whatever camera recall. You get 250 cameras, I believe, to recall. So I want this on camera 1, so I'm going to select camera 1. Just going to click the UD button. It's kind of like a save button. I'm going to scroll down, go to exit. Now I'm going to exit the search menu. I don't want to start a new search. I'll hit exit, and I'll exit out of the protocol menu. Now camera 1 is under the NDI protocol, and you can see it here. We've got the IP, we've got the name that I've given it actually on the web UI, and it reads back okay. So now if I take this little camera and I start sending commands, I can control it over NDI IP. So that's the beauty in how simple Bird Dog cameras are supposed to talk to the Bird Dog keyboard. Okay. Now, let's just say though we need to use the Sony VISCA-IP protocol. This is a little bit different, and there's two ways to do it. You can manually input it all under the camera settings, or you can add the camera over NDI like this, and then you can hit setup, which is this blue button right here. So we hit setup, asks for your super secret password, which is just all zeros, and it takes you to this screen. And here we're going to say camera settings. We'll press the LR directional, and it says camera 1 is set up. Here's the title, Bird Dog Knutson, and then protocol NDI. So I'm going to go down to protocol, and I'm going to change this to VISCA-IP. Now you'll notice there is a VISCA option. That's something different. So don't select VISCA, select VISCA-IP. That's the one that we want. We're going to click enter. It's going to say what's the IP address of the camera, which this is correct, 17.13, and it knows that because this camera was added via the NDI protocol. So it actually saved that information, and it says, do you want it to be at this address, which it is. So 192.168.17.13 is that camera's address. For bird dog cameras, the payload header should be on, and the port needs to be, let me cycle through here, the port needs to be 52381, which is pretty much the default for all bird dog cameras. So that needs to be the port. Keep cycling down. On page 2, we have an edit button. So what I do is I go here to the IP address and I click the UD button. That kind of saves it all here, and then I hit exit. I hit exit again. I log out of this screen. Whoops, that's camera settings. So we want to say exit. Look, even the pros make mistakes, you know? So we're going to log out of this. Exit. Exit. Okay. VISCA-IP is now the protocol. Before, the protocol listing was NDI. So now the offering is VISCA-IP, and we get an OK readback. Now, as a general rule of thumb, what I normally do is I call the camera. So this is camera 1. So we call by saying 1 cam, and it flashes on the screen. You saw the OK flash. That means it has found that camera on the network again, and now we can control it with left and right, up, down, all that sort of good stuff. So that is how it's done. It's that simple. It should be that simple. If your keyboard is coming back and it's not finding any cameras on the network, you need to check and make sure that the cameras can be seen inside Studio Monitor. And so in this case, like, look, I've got a P100 here that's in Studio Monitor, and you need to be able to control it. So here, there's a look at my rig. There I am on my P100. Same thing here, P200. We need to be able to control it in Studio Monitor. If you can see it in Studio Monitor, you can control it in Studio Monitor. That means that the signal is available on your network. And so we need to check the network settings on the camera. We need to make sure that our network is configured correctly, and we're going to go into other videos about how to do that. But when you search for a camera on your keyboard, without getting into too much customization, what really needs to happen is you need to have your camera set to TCP, discovery server off. Everything needs to be on the same subnet, and then you can search for it with the NDI protocol. Now, when you click the search button, there is a VISCA-IP search option. Don't use that. VISCA-IP needs to be manually inputted for now. We're working on getting that feature up and running, but VISCA-IP, if you have to do it, needs to be entered manually, which is why it's a little bit easier to add it with the auto search for NDI and then just change the protocol. Literally, you just have to change the protocol, go through, save it, exit, and it works with the VISCA-IP as well. So it's really that simple, and it should be fairly straightforward. If you're having other issues with the camera not being seen, be sure you check firmwares. There's firmware updates, there's baseboard updates, and all those things can be found on our firmware site. So hopefully that you find that helpful, and we can kind of help you out. If you need any help, please reach out to us at help@bird-dog.tv, and we can give you a hand. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy your keyboard. We'll see you later.